I just put all my feelings into my music, and I really just try to get across a certain emotion for people to relate to.
Focus on love, love what's in focus. Aim for above because the ceiling's focus. Focus on love what's in focus. Aim for above because the ceiling is bogus. Focus on love.
Yo,
What's
what's
up?
up? Hey,
My man.
how you been? You were just watching a movie? Church? What is that?
I was just watching church since, like pandemic stuff. So I
Is
was yeah,
what
so
is that?
huh?
What is that? I have no idea.
Oh, like I take like my faith very seriously, and you can't like physically go to church right now, obviously, right? So there's this like one on YouTube that I just watch. It's like just a mass service that I watch every Sunday. Just kidding.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, what do they talk about today?
So today the sermon was really about the gospel was about um a parable that Jesus said, and he was talking about a metaphor using gardening, how God plants like these seeds in every one of us, and we have to tend to them and we have to nurture them so they can grow into what they can fully be. And so the way that it's interpreted uh, as a personal lesson is that um, God gives us all the virtues that we should live by: the love, the hope, um, the loyalty, and other things like that. And Jesus is sort of like this master gardener who helps us learn how we can take care of those virtues, how we can strengthen them and make them better, and we can grow as people from that.
Cool. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. The seeds metaphor, I've heard before, when it comes to meditation,
Mm-hmm.
where like meditating is kind of like planting seeds, or while you meditate, you can plant some seeds, which, will grow. Or basically, like every experience that you've had throughout your life, you can think of as a seed, and you're where you are right now in the present moment, is kind of this experience of this garden which has grown from all these different seeds, and so the more intentional that you can be with which seeds you're planting, if you plant an orange tree seed, then it'll grow up and then you'll have nice orange juice to drink, whereas if you plant a, I don't know, poisonous tree, then when it comes to fruition, you will not
Yeah, like
have a
if you
good time.
plant a weed.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think that's really a strong thing to take, in that sense that you need to figure out what plants can flourish in your own personal little garden here, and which ones will benefit you the most.
Hmm. Right. Cool. Well, thank you for joining me
Of
for
course, happy
this
to be here.
episode. And yeah, like when I like envisioned like how these would go, there would be like multiple artists, and basically like we would shuffle between each other, like chatting with one another, but that hasn't really worked out like hardly, besides like when I did it the first few times it worked out, but that was more like people from my current network that came,
Mhm.
and then so since like then trying to have like new people show up at the same time has not really worked out, so I'm definitely like pivoting more towards like these one-on-one interviews, um, and so I'm gonna just like ask you some questions, have
Yeah.
a conversation, and then afterwards I cut it up and post like the clips of like each individual question, more or less,
Okay.
onto my YouTube channel. If that's cool.
Yeah, and I like that better, because if you do it just like one on one like this, I think you really get more of a personal response from an artist, right? You get more
Hmm.
detail stuff with them. Yeah, so I like that. Yeah, it's good.
Cool, awesome. So the first question is if you have 3 minutes to tell your full like life story of how you first got involved with music and how you have grown as an artist over time to be where you are today. Like, what is your full artist story?
Okay, wow, my full artist story. Okay, so I've always been a person who liked music. I enjoyed it from a very young age, but I never really thought about music creation up until I was in middle school. And it just came from a random occurrence. I was in the car with a babysitter that I had, and she just played Jumpman by Future and Drake on the radio. And I was like, yo, this song is really good. I want to do something like that. So after that, I started having these ideas about making music, and for the first year or so that I just made stuff, I just spent it just writing. Like I just wrote just like bars on bars on bars on bars on bars. And I feel like I didn't know how to make full songs. I just knew how to write bars, right? And so I feel like what that did for me, just that period, was it really helped me develop an ability for like internal rhymes and being able to tell story through lyrics and stuff, right? So then we got to a point where I was confident in my abilities to actually make a song. And um, I think we can all say this as artists. The first few songs they're not very great. But so I put out a few songs. I put out a mixtape. I knew some things, but I didn't know everything. So I didn't have any mixing on it or anything. My flows weren't completely there. Like the way my delivery was all right, but it wasn't quite where it is now. But I feel like still then, that was also a learning experience because I learned a bit about production there. I learned about song structure. And towards the end of that period, I really started to find like my flow and how I could really chop it up like that, right? So then after that mixtape, we get to a period from summer 2018 to summer 2019, where I basically spent this period making my first album that is on streaming services called Two-Face. So I had that concept. The concept of that album is kind of like there's this one side that's like really hype, really energetic, really aggressive, and then there's this other side that's really thoughtful and calm, and it's more pensive demeanor. So I spent that period of time. I really started to get an ear for what's catchy, what flows I can use, what flows I can really use. Like I really honed in my flow there, and an overall concept for an album, and really professionalizing stuff. Like I really went into mixing as a main thing in this period of my music career. So I released the first single of that in July of 2018, and then I released the full album in August of 2019. So that was a long process for me that I could have been more productive with, and that was the thing I wanted to work on next after that project. So immediately after Two-Faced, I started to think about what my next album would be, and that is my latest album that's out right now. You can listen to it on all streaming services. That's called Hide. And that's also a concept album and it's this narrative about this guy. He's just this really just like evil, despicable human being. And then he gets visited by the devil and he gets visited by God. And he decides to change his life up. And the thing about that is, the message of that is that everyone, no matter how despicable they may be, can always have a chance to redeem themselves, right? So I spent this period of time, I started working on Hyde in September, I want to say. of 2019, and I released it in the end of May of this year, 2020. And during that period of time, I really got a grasp on this grandiose sounding thing and my delivery. My delivery on a lot of my previous music was a bit too nasally, too high pitched for me. It didn't have this like gruff sound to it that I was looking for. And during this process of Hide, I really got a gruff sound. And another huge thing is productivity. I I made so many songs in this period of making my album Hide, and I had the first time where I had to cut songs from an album because there were just so many of them, and I needed to piece together the narrative as tightly as possible.
Hmm.
And now here we are in the current day. So after this release of Hide, I've started to get into more of an experimental type thing. I'm starting to experiment with different genres. I'm just making whatever I feel like making. I feel like that's a big part of my artistry, where I just put all my feelings into my music, and I really just try to get across a certain emotion for people to relate to.
Cool. That's awesome. So I'm gonna try to basically just recap what you just said. And so you you listened to music as a kid all the time, but it wasn't until you were about 14 you heard the song Jump Man.
Yeah.
And that song jumped out at you. Maybe I should listen to that
Yeah.
song again.
Exactly.
And that song really got you going and got you interested in making your own music.
Yeah.
And so you first started by writing out lots and lots of bars.
Mhm.
And would you write like in a notes app or like on
Yeah,
paper
I wrote in my phone.
in your phone? Yeah, nice. I also have that. I have like endless amounts of just like bars and lyrics that
Yeah.
I've written over time. And so you did that for a while without really making real songs, but then eventually you started making songs and they weren't very good, but you were just getting in the flow of recording, but you didn't really know how to mix and master and all that, but you were, I think, writing like full songs with like hooks and
Yeah.
verses and stuff like that. And so in that way you put out a mixtape, I think, which was,
Yeah.
I don't think you said when, but in like 2017 or
Yeah, it was around like just early 2018.
early 2018.
Yeah.
And then you started working on your first album, which was called Two Faced,
Yeah.
by Rico,
Yeah.
RICO.
Yep.
So people can find that. And this was, about two sides of you, the pensive, thoughtful side and the turn up side.
Yeah.
And so you put that album out, but it took you like so long to make that album, and you basically put like every song that you made went into that album, like more or less.
Yeah.
Um, and so after that, you really wanted to up your productivity levels. And so while working on your next album, which is called
Hide.
Hide. Oh, right, Hide. You made a lot of songs, and all of these songs were like mixed and stuff. You really got into like knowing how to mix songs yourself, right?
Yeah, I did that. I figured that out towards the end of the two-faced cycle, and I really got into that, and I used that ability in Hide.
Nice. And then Hide, you made a lot of songs, and then you ended up cutting a lot of the songs out. And that song is available on streaming services already. And now more recently, you've been just trying to, you have the ability to make songs quickly, and so you're trying to put like, your real emotions and feelings into the songs that you're creating today.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
I mean, I've always put all my emotion into songs, but I'm trying to experiment more right now.
True. I see. Experimenting more. Because you had those two faces, and then Hyde was also kind of like a two-face thing with like the devil and the angel or God, I guess.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, a little bit. It's this Hide is more of a narrative thing. So the original idea I had for that album, just one of my closest artist friends, Kid Rohan, he helped me out in coming up with the idea. He's like, take Two-Face and they just do like the like more aggressive turn up half. And I'm like, okay, I like that. And then around October, I had my own spiritual reawakening, and I wanted to introduce a religious aspect to the album. So I did that by making it a narrative, making this character of Hyde and characterizing him in the songs of the album, and then having a complete switch up where he really decides to think stuff over and just go reform himself.
Mm.
Yeah.
Well, that's cool. And it's is that like Jekyll and Hyde?
Yeah, that's where I took the name. Yeah.
Oh, nice, nice. I didn't make that connection until right now, but that's cool. Nice. And so my next question is, if you were to think ahead like 12 months from now, like where do you hope to be with your music, and like what are the steps that you're planning on taking to get there in the next 12 months?
All right. So in the next year of my music, I really just want to keep growing my fan base, because I think that's the most important thing as an artist and for exposure. Because the small fan base that I do have right now, they're very supportive. They really like my stuff. I mean, I get some really good numbers because of my fans, and I love my fans because of that. And so in this next 12-year period, 12-month period, my bad. I really wanna make music that can touch more people on this personal level, and make them connect with me, make them connect with the fan base. Lately, I've been getting like out there more, just like as I'm trying to do different things, like as just like a personality type thing. Like that's why I think something like TikTok is really important for artist growth, because there people can see like this different side of you that they've never seen before. Like they can connect more with the person behind the music. And I'm trying to do that more to grow my fan base and get to a place that I really want to be at, where I'm getting like over 100,000 streams on a song, you know? Because I mean, like right now, my highest song has like 43K right now. So I think if I really push that, if I really try to connect with people, I can grow that fan base and just really get past that goal marker, you know?
Cool. Yeah, so that was pretty clear. And so more or less, I mean, you're trying to grow your fan base. I'm wondering, you know, do you want to get more people to listen to the music that you already have out, or are you more trying to make music that reaches people more easily?
Okay. I'm kind of trying to do both a little bit, because I feel like the music I have out already really can connect with people on a deeper level. Like if you listen to Hyde and you really understand it, I feel like that can be a personal message to someone that they can understand. But at the same time, I lately, just with my music, I've been trying to make it a little more accessible, because I don't have an idea for an album right now, which is perfectly fine because I just put out an album. But sometimes I just get a feeling that I want to just make a song, and I've been talking with some of my friends that help me with some like production stuff, right? And they've been saying, "Yo, you should make a song that's like super catchy. Just make like one song. It's like that." And I'm like, yeah, okay, I'll try that, you know. So if someone hears that song, they can be like, oh, this is a cool song. I like this guy. Let's check out all his other music, right? And then they can really delve deep into that and yell like, I really like this guy. I think I'm gonna be a fan of his, you know.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, so it's kind of a mixture of both. And so you're trying to make music that people connect with, and but also connecting back to the albums that you've already dropped is part of that.
Yeah.
Cool. And nice. So my next question is, what's your experience with freestyle rapping? Is this something that you do?
Okay, I got you. So, I've always loved to freestyle. Freestyling's so much fun for me. Um, but I think I'm pretty decent at freestyling now when I can get a groove, which is, I mean, I can get a groove all the time, but there's some times where it's just like someone's like, "Yo, freestyle," and I'm just like, I'm just like feeling kind of down that day or whatever, where it's like tougher, but like I can freestyle pretty capably now. But that took a long time to develop.
Mhm.
Like, I'm
So
gonna
were you intentional about it?
yeah, I mean, I I value song making more than freestyle ability as an artist, but I think, especially as a rapper, that being able to freestyle is a thing that's really cool that you can do and that people will really enjoy, and you'll really enjoy it too, of course, if you grow to be good at it.
Mhm.
Um, Harkening back to that period of time where I didn't really know how to make songs, right? In like late 2017, early 2018, um, I I practiced freestyling, but I couldn't necessarily get it yet. I'd always have to pause for a second to just like think of what my next line.
Mhm.
Then when I was making Two Faced, I got a lot better at it, and I would just I did it like monthly sometimes. I would just play like a random beat that I found on YouTube, and I would just freestyle the entire thing. I would just freestyle the entire thing. No,
Mhm.
if I said some stupid lines along the way, that would be okay. I at least got a flow and I got a rhyme down.
Mhm.
And then I feel like in this hide process and leading on to today, um, I can freestyle entire songs if I want to now, right?
Mhm.
Like I have a song called Quarantine Freestyle that I put out at the beginning of April when this whole pandemic stuff really started, where that creation process of that was one of those producer friends I was talking about earlier. He was like, yo, I'm gonna give you 3 beats. I want you to just turn it on and just freestyle to it. I'm like, okay. So I turn on the first beat and I go like, I'm quarantined, so I'm locked in. All I do is rap, so I don't got no other option. All these people wanna come at me like they've been popping. I need social distancing, so I tell them to stop it. Hey, and I did that, and I just freestyled for the rest of the song, and I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty good. I'm gonna make that a full song. So yeah, I'm at that point now where I can do that. I'm able to do that freestyle wise, and if you put me in like a rap battle or something, I could actually capably hold myself up as I wasn't able to 2 years ago.
Awesome. So you would say like freestyling is like an integral part of your songwriting process.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's really how you come up with all the melodies and flows and stuff.
Yeah.
Like you play the beat, you freestyle to it, you find something you like, you take it, and then you
Mhm.
just go for the next 4 bars. Yeah,
Cool. Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah, it's a great answer. I also love freestyling. I find that like some of my best songs are freestyles.
yeah,
Doing what you just said, like you just like put the beat on, you just like feel it, and then
yeah,
you just like, and then it comes out, and then you're like, okay, that's a song.
yeah, exactly. And it gives you that. It gets like more of a raw feeling. It's
Hmm.
more of a. It's more gelling with the emotional emotion of the song. You know.
Yeah, exactly. And it can give more of a like live performance like
Yeah,
aspect
yeah, and I like
to
that,
it.
and I like that in a lot of my stuff. Like
Yeah.
I think about a lot of songs sometimes, like how would this play in a concert setting, you know?
Hmm. Yeah.
And yeah, that's
Awesome.
yeah, it's very important. Or if I'm like making a banger, I'm like that would be fire if you can get like the whole crowd to scream like that one lyric. Yeah.
Hmm. Totally. Um, my next question is, if you could like can you pick out like one song that you think like people that have never heard you before, like what's the one song that you think they should listen to?
All right, so what I think is my best song is my most grandiose song, my most lyrically dense song, my most thought-provoking song is a song called Trinity off of my Hide album. It's very, it's very deep. I put a lot of thought into those lyrics and a lot of care behind that. That's really the central piece of the album.
Mm.
And if you want a more hype song, more turn up song, then my song FUX from my Hide album would be suitable for that. It's my most energetic song.
Fucks.
Yeah.
All right, cool. And could you, could you go in a little bit more detail about the songwriting process that you took for Trinity? Like, how did that song?
Yeah. So, when I was writing Trinity, it started with the idea of me incorporating that spiritual reawakening into my Hyde album, right? And I came up with this character of Hyde. He meets the devil and he meets God, right? So Trinity is really that point where he meets God, and I worked with the producer, and we made this perfect beat, like a great beat for the song, has gospel influence in it, has a lot of just like crunchy banging production on it, in like the drums and stuff, and it really works as like a big anthemic grandiose thing. And there's 4 beat switches in the song. One of them is for Hyde when he's talking to himself. One of them is the Holy Spirit. One of them is God the Father, and one of them is Jesus Christ. And so I wanted to take each beat switch and do it as a different part of the Holy Trinity. That's why it's called Trinity, right? And that song is just like this big thought-provoking thing. Like there's no hook on that song. It's just 4 straight verses.
Dope. That's awesome. I'm definitely going to listen to that. And I will also like, at the end of this segment, I can add, if it's on YouTube, I can put like I'll link to it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Cool. So I think it's been almost 30 minutes. I'm wondering, is there anything like that we haven't talked about yet that you want to talk about?
Not in particular that I can think of at the moment. I'm just kind of, I think we're all just kind of living life right now, just trying to get by,
Yeah, totally. Do you have any questions for me?
I do actually. I want to know what inspired you to really make this series, to interview all these artists like this and get some of their answers on different stuff.
Cool. Yeah, that's actually the same question that the last person that I talked to asked.
It's really interesting. It's an interesting concept.
Yeah, totally. I mean, like one of the reasons is like, I think artists connecting with each other is important. And also like me hearing from other artists and hearing their stories, like that gets me more motivated to make my own music. And also can give me a clearer picture of like, how I got to where I am. Like you mentioned, like writing lots of bars, like that's totally something that I did. And I actually kind of forgot about it and don't really mention it. But that's like definitely integral to me developing as a rapper. So that's one reason. And also, I mean, I want to like inspire other music artists to connect with each other. And, also, I want to develop a process under which music artists, particularly rappers, can form like a rap group or something and make collaboration albums together. Really collaborating is like one of my passions, and I want to collaborate with 1,000 artists in the next 12 months. That's like a goal of mine. And so I think just meeting as many as possible is an important step for me to do that. So yeah,
I
those
like
are
that.
the main
That's
reasons.
good. That's a great answer to that question. My God. That's awesome. That's really great that you're doing this, and you wanna both you can both like advance your own career by doing this and help other people and inspire.
Hmm.
I like that.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
And other artists can do it for each other too. So
Exactly.
yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
I'll send you a link. I don't know if you use Facebook at all, but
Yeah, I have Facebook. I can send you my Facebook if you want.
all right, cool. I'll add you a Facebook group called Famous Rapper Network,
Mhm.
which is a Facebook group that has like everybody that has come onto an episode of this is in there. And then I asked that you like write like a short bio about yourself, as well as include like a link to your best song and all of your social media links that you want people to follow you on. And then the people that are already in the group will see that post and follow you and check out your stuff. So
Okay. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
all right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining me.
Awesome. Thank you.
It's been Rico, and you can
That's
check
right.
out Trinity and Hyde and Two Face all on streaming services.
That's right.
Sweet. All right.
See y'all.
Focus on love, love what's in focus. Aim for above because the ceiling's focus. Focus on love, love what's in focus. Aim for above because the ceiling is bogus. Focus on love, love what's in focus. Aim for above because the ceiling's bogus. Focus on love what's in focus. Aim for above because the ceiling is bogus. I wanna lay down a never-ending road. We never go to